Okay, in fact, we are getting a breaking news development now, not with related with Bihar ports, but something else, which is significant, in fact, development connected with investigations in the Anil Ambani Group companies. Fresh cases filed against Anil Ambani, I think, by the Enforcement Directorate. Yes, after PMLA and FEMA probe against Anil Ambani. FEMA probe is essentially conducted by the Enforcement Directorate. Shravan is joining us in a bit with more details. Anil Ambani has been summoned on November 14 by the ED, and troubles mounting for Anil Ambani because many of his group companies are under the probe of both the CBI and the ED. And in this case, a FEMA probe now getting launched, and Anil Ambani being summoned to be there to be questioned by the Enforcement Directorate on November 14. Shravan joins us live for more on this. Is this Reliance Infra? If that's Reliance Infra, it's going to be a big one, a huge one, Shravan, because the position of the Anil Ambani Group is that these are earlier companies like Reliance Communication, Reliance Power, and not Reliance Infra. What's the take? What's the development?
Well, in fact, I've just got further details from top sources within the Enforcement Directorate. This is a case pertaining to Reliance Infrastructure. In fact, this is a road contract that was backed by Reliance Infrastructure back in the year 2012. Interestingly, that contract was further subcontracted to another entity, and there was an initial amount that was already disbursed, and immediately thereafter, another 40 crore was basically disbursed, and we are given to understand 38 crore. 38 crore was the amount that was remitted abroad. Now, what we do not know is that what was it sent abroad for, number one. Number two, it also turns out yet another example of diversion of funds really taking place. We do have a confirmation that of the 40 crore rupees that was disbursed, 38 crore through a shell company was actually remitted abroad. This once again shows ciphering of funds that have actually taken place. And now I'm given to understand that Anil Ambani has been called in for questioning on the 14th of November. That's the confirmation. More details only on Republic TV with regards to a FEMA case that is being probed. And interestingly, Abhishek, I just picked up that not just a PMLA case, but a FEMA case is now being looked into. Apart from FEMA case, there are multiple cases in which Anil Ambani has been embroiled, and he is being further investigated by the central agencies as we speak. Yeah. The latest, of course, coming in that this is linked to Reliance Infrastructure. Reliance Infrastructure, remember, all this while has been maintaining the fact that Anil Ambani hasn't been part of the board for 3.5 years. They haven't really specified the exact period when which he was not part of the board. But if you really look at each of these documents that have been scrutinized by Republic TV, clearly goes on to indicate that Anil Ambani was at the forefront of convincing the lenders of giving him and his companies more money. In fact, the lenders were essentially told that legal opinion was basically sought and there was no fraud, and that is the reason why Anil Ambani was trying to convince the lenders that more money should be pumped into groups linked to Anil Ambani's other entities. And it turns out that much of the money that was received by Anil Ambani's companies, they were basically being diverted. Some of it has been signed off by none other than the chairman himself, that is Anil Ambani. Now, that's the fresh details we're getting in with regards to the FEMA case that is being probed.
Okay, and Shravan, okay, that's a short update coming in on the Anil Ambani Group investigations being carried out by agencies, including in this case the Enforcement Directorate, a FEMA probe being launched, Foreign Exchange Management Act. Before that, the PMLA cases were already on, the Prevention of Money Laundering Act. Shravan, that's very interesting, which means that while the money laundering happened, there was an element of foreign exchange regulations violation, which means that money was sent out, routed, rerouted, as it is called, to hide the tracks, as it is done sometimes by using shell companies abroad. Is that the case, Shravan?
Well, it's clearly that's the case, because Surat-based companies were basically used to remit funds abroad. In fact, there is an international Hawala racket that has been unearthed by the Enforcement Directorate as far as the PMLA case is concerned, because there you have the loan fraud scam that is being probed. Because all this while we were largely told about a loan fraud scam. But now it turns out that there is a direct case. This is a direct case of Reliance Infrastructure that is being probed, and that is a FEMA case. There is a foreign exchange violations that have essentially has come to the fore. But of course, in terms of penalization, it would be very different than the PMLA case itself. We are slipping into a short break. We'll continue with a rolling coverage from Bihar.